When it comes to the short game, we're not going to become world champion wedge players or Sevi Ballesteros or Phil Mickelson or anything overnight. But we want to try and have at least a reliable foundational technique that we can trust. But when you don't know one of the main reasons that you're screwing up a lot of the time, you can keep having tricky shots, whether it's out of the rough. And you get a little bit short sometimes. You're like, I don't know why. But when you have a very simple sort of checklist, and even just one thing that I want to show you today, what it's going to do is give you a method that not only helps your chipping, your rescue shots, really even pitch shots. It's going to help bunker shots too. And what I'm doing is in the arms. It's a very subtle, quick and easy little trick that I'm going to give you that is going to help every single shot be more consistent. This little trick is about the arms, and what I'm doing on the setup, you saw it on the first one, which I didn't do well, and the bunker shot, and on here, as I set up to the ball, all right, it's not the feet, it's not the clubs, it's not the hands, it's the arms and my arm position. What I'm doing is a little bit different to what most of you tend to do when you're setting up to little pitch shots, chip shots. You set up with your body in place, your hands sort of pressed forward a little bit, okay? But the thing I want to point out most is the shape that I have with my arms, and also the lack of connection that I have with my arms to my body. So there's two things I want to point out. When we have a bit of air here, that's going to affect our movement in the fact that we're not going to have a reliable sequence. Sometimes the body is going to go a little bit more. Sometimes the hands are going to go a bit more. Sometimes the arms are going to go without the body. And that all changes not just the contact reliability, but the ball flight reliability. So it becomes very hard to have a consistent, confident short game. And what we actually really want is to find a way that gives us a blend of connection, something that we can repeat very, very easily, and that can apply to all shots, pitch shots, bunker shots, and greenside shots. And all I want you to do is so simple, but it's very annoying how good it is. So I'm going to show you what I do first, and then I explain why it's so effective. All I'm going to do is take my hand position, and I'm going to turn over my arms here. Okay, so I'm rotating my arms. So I'm kind of like doing a bicep curl coming up this way, and I'm going to almost feel like my elbows are coming in to the top of my chest here, and then from there, with that connection and with my elbows pointing down a little bit more this way, it's going to feel almost like I am keeping my palms up as I swing, my elbows up, but it's like I'm passing like a bag of sand or something like this. I'm in control. And why this works is because the club's not fighting me. I am just moving together my arms, the club, and my body in a nice pattern that is repeatable. It's a nice smooth arc. And you can see just from that alone how repeatable that is all the way through, backwards and forwards. I'm staying connected. I'm not getting too disconnected. Everything is working as needs to together. So this method, it blends connection, structure, along with having a nice touch and feel without being too wristy. Because we still want to have a nice firm grip on the club, but we're not really tense in the forearms. The forearms feel very soft and gentle, but we're relaxed. We don't want the arms too rigid. We don't want them too bent. We don't want to be using too much wrist, and we don't want to be too structured either. So we're trying to blend them all together. And having this little setup where the arms are just sort of slightly tucked in and those forearms are rotated with my triceps touching the upper chest, what's going to dictate my general action is not going to be my wrists. It's going to really pretty much feel like it's my sternum here. It's my chest that is going to do most of it. Does it feel like a putting stroke? A little bit, but we have a lot more sort of movement in it. So as you can see, as I'm finishing, everything's kind of staying quite close to me, but I'm not flipping. I'm not getting disconnected. It's working in a nice harmony. But you can see like this position that I have here is formed from my setup, and it brings it back down. So I can do a very basic shot, okay, whether it's a little distance we want to go or a further distance, and this technique stays the same. The best way for you to see how effective this is to give you more consistency around the greens is go and test it for yourself. I always say, like, you've got to test these things. Not always is it going to resonate, not always is it going to feel like aha, but most of the time it is. But I want you to find your feels with it. But one of the good things about this sensation, okay, when we want to do more delicate shots, perhaps get a little bit more height on it, we can feel like the club face is staying open a little bit more this way, because I'm sort of keeping my arms up. You see how my forearms are sort of up a little bit this way and they're up a little bit this way. But I'm not just relying on the wrist, as I've said. Everything's kind of staying neutral and passive, but I can pop it up every single time. It might not be giving you the world's best lob shot technique to get all the spin you need, but it's going to be reliable. Your contact is going to be reliable. So no matter what shots you have, you can start becoming more confident. And it works with all different types of clubs as well. I've only got the 56 here, but it's the same technique no matter what I'm doing. Whether I want a bit of a bump and run, whether I want it to go higher, whether I'm playing out of a bunker. All I'm doing is connecting the top of the triceps, but turning those elbows over so they're not fighting each other. So we're not combating the wrists all the time. Everything is nice and connected. It's so simple, but I really want you to try it and let me know how you get on. If you want another arm position that is going to transform your full swing, you've got to check out this lesson. It's been a game changer for so many people. It takes just a couple of seconds to get that light bulb moment, and you will be swinging better instantly.